Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Sunday. Got a lot of NFL action on the board today. So, yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below. And if you guys like betting on NFL player props, go ahead and sign up with ParlayPlay, guys. Get $10 just for signing up. And yeah, use it to build up your bankroll. Get a nice little cash out as we head into the new year. And yeah, we'll hop in here. A lot of good action today. A lot of important games. Starting with the Atlanta Falcons versus the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo opening up as 14.5-point favorites with the over-under at 44. The last 6 head-to-head, Atlanta 4-2, 3-2-1 covering the spread. The over has hit in 4 out of the last 6 matchups. For Buffalo, they should be getting Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders back, which is good for their offense, and Gabe Davis. So all the receivers should be coming back for Buffalo. Atlanta 5-5 in their last 10. Buffalo 5-5 in their last 10 as well, coming off a 33-21 win over the Patriots. Atlanta coming off a 20-16 win over Detroit. Atlanta, surprisingly, they've been good against Buffalo. 5-2 covering on the road. 4-1 in their last 5 against Buffalo. Buffalo, really good home team. 11-3 at home. Yeah, I like Buffalo. This game just means a lot more to the Bills. I mean, this actually is an important game for both teams, but I just think there's a lot more on the line for this Bills team at home. They need to get this win over Atlanta. I think it's going to be tough for Atlanta to get a win on the road against Buffalo. Taking Buffalo minus 13.5. Add them to your money line parlays. Next matchup, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New England Patriots. Patriots opening up as 16.5-point favorites, with the over-under at 41.5. The last 3 head-to-head, the Patriots 2-1. The over is hit in 2 out of the last 3 matchups. Patriots are 8-2 in their last 10 against the Jags. Jags just 2-8 in their last 10, currently on a 3-4-7 game losing streak. New England 7-3 in their last 10. On a 2-game losing streak, coming off a 33-21 loss against Buffalo. Jags 0-16 on the road, 0-6 covering. Patriots 8-0 at home against Jacksonville. I just think there's like a 0% chance Jacksonville is going to come into New England and get a win. New England on a 2-game losing streak, perfect bounce back opportunity for the Patriots to get a nice home win against the Jaguars. Yeah, no way you can trust the Jags when they just don't really put up points. Trevor Lawrence has only thrown 2 touchdowns in the last, month, 2 months, 3 months. It's not even like a realistic stat. It's crazy. Not a chance. Rolling with the Patriots minus 16.5. Add them to your money line parlays. Next matchup, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Chiefs opening up as 4-point favorites with the over-under at 51. The last 9 head-to-head, the Bengals 6-3, 5-4 covering the spread. The over is just hit 2 out of the last 9 matchups. Kansas City 9-1 in their last 10, on a nice little 8-game win streak, coming off a 36-10 win over Pittsburgh. Cincinnati coming off a 41-21 win over Baltimore. Kansas City playing amazing, 6-0 covering the spread right now. I mean, their offense is playing lights out, defense playing great football, 14-3 on the road. Cincinnati 5-0 at home against Kansas City. This is going to be a battle, probably one of the better games on this slate. 2 great offenses. I like Kansas City though. They've really turned things around. I mean, the run they're on is unbelievable heading into the postseason here. They're just destroying teams. Their defense is limiting teams to scoring less than like 15 points. Yeah, I'm rolling with the Chiefs here. -4. Add them to your money line parlay. It's going to be a battle. I think the over is a really good play in this matchup as well. And yeah, I'm going to roll with the Chiefs in this matchup. All right, next matchup, we have the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Indianapolis Colts. Colts opening up as 7-point favorites with the over-under at 44.5. The last 10 head-to-head, the Colts 6-4, 4-6 covering the spread. The over has hit in 6 out of the last 10 matchups. The Raiders 5-5 in their last 10. Colts 8-2 in their last 10, coming off a 22-16 win over Arizona. The Raiders coming off a 17-13 win over Denver. Raiders just 2-6 covering in their last 8 games, 3-7 covering on the road. Colts playing great football, 4-1 covering in their last 5, 6-1 in their last 7 on a nice win streak, 4-2 at home. Yeah, I love the Colts here, man. They've just been playing too good. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is going to run all over this Raiders defense. Good luck on them trying to slow him down. I like the Colts more as a whole in this matchup. Taking the Colts -6.5. Add them to your money line parlays. Next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Rams opening up as 5.5-point favorites with the over-under at 46.5. The last 3 head-to-head, Baltimore 3-0, 2-0-1 covering the spread. The over is hit in 2 out of the last 3 matchups. Baltimore, kind of the big, the major concern is Lamar Jackson going to play? He's been questionable all week. We have no idea if he's going to play. Truly is going to be a game time decision, so I have no idea. We won't know until an hour before, honestly, which is going to be unfortunate. Rams coming off a 30-23 win over Minnesota. Baltimore on a 4-game losing streak, coming off a 41-21 loss against the Bengals. The Rams 4-1 covering in their last 5 right now. Baltimore, 8-2 at home. Really good home team, but a lot of concerns with Lamar. He's missed a lot of practice. Hasn't been playing the last few games. Going to be up against this Rams team that's playing great football. I like the Rams in this one. Taking the Rams -5.5. This Ravens defense hasn't been that good. They've been getting torched lately. Rolling with the Rams here both ways. Next matchup, we have the Miami Dolphins versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans opening up as 3.5-point favorites with the over-under at 39.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Miami 6-4, 6-4 covering the spread. The over has hit in 5 out of the last 10 matchups. Miami coming off a 20-3 win over New Orleans on a 7-game winning streak, playing great great football here. Titans 7-3 in their last 10, coming off a 20-17 win over the Niners. Miami on a great run, 6-1 covering in their last 7, 5-2 covering against the Titans. Titans 6-1 at home. 2 really good teams, both playing good football here. I like Miami +3.5, man. The run they've been on, the defense has just been on a different level. They've been creating a lot of turnovers, generating a lot of sacks. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one for the Titans. Going to be a good game nonetheless, but 3.5 points, I think it's too much for as good as this Dolphins team has been playing. Taking Dolphins plus the points. Next matchup, we have the New York Giants versus the Chicago Bears. Bears opening up as 6-point favorites with the over-under at 36.5. The last 3 head-to-head, the Chicago 2-1, 0-3 covering the spread. The over has hit in 1 out of the last 3 matchups. The Giants just 3-7 in their last 10 on a 4-game losing streak, coming off a 34-10 loss against Philly. Chicago, 2-8 in their last 10, coming off a 25-24 win over Seattle. This is an ugly game. Giants 0-6 on the road. Honestly, this is the one matchup I kind of stay away, but I'm going to roll with the Bears here just because they have a better defense. And, they have an okay offense. David Montgomery should have a good game. They have a little bit better talent, but Giants, they've just been struggling. The quarterback issue has been just awful. Giants just can't compete. They're not good enough to compete. They just aren't. Taking the Bears -6 here. Next matchup, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Football Team. Eagles opening up as 4.5-point favorites with the over-under at 44.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Philly 7-3, 6-3-1 covering the spread. The over has hit in 6 out of the last 10 matchups. Philly coming off a 34-10 win over the Giants on a 3-game winning streak. Washington on a 3-game losing streak, coming off a 56-14 loss against Dallas. Philly 7-2 in their last 9 against Washington, playing great head-to-head wise. Washington struggled here. Their quarterback situation has not been good. Philly been looking good on this little run they're on a 3-game winning streak, playing good football. Washington, they just have not looked good. Hard to trust them here at home. Their defense just has not been able to get the job done. Taking the Eagles -4.5 on the road. Next matchup, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Jets. Tampa Bay opening up as 13-point favorites with the over-under at 45.5. Crazy, but the last 6 head-to-head, the Jets are 5-1. 5-1 covering the spread. The over has hit 1 out of the last 6 matchups. Tampa Bay coming off a 32-6 win over Carolina. The Jets coming off a 26-21 win over the Jaguars. Tampa Bay 5-1 covering in their last 6. This is crazy. Tampa Bay 0-7 on the road against the Jets. 1-8 covering against the Jets. That is just insane to me that even exists. I'm sorry, but I can't roll with that statistic. No way am I trusting the Jets at home. Tampa Bay on a mission here. Roll with Tampa Bay -13 here on the road. I just think this defense is going to create a lot of turnovers on the Jets, and I think this offense will get the job done. They'll be able to run. Tom will get his guys involved here. Rolling with the Bucs both ways. Next matchup, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers opening up as 7.5-point favorites with the over-under at 45.5. The last 3 head-to-head, Denver 2-1. 2-1 covering the spread. The over has hit 1 out of the last 3 matchups. No Teddy Bridgewater for Denver. Denver struggled since Bridgewater's been out on a 2-game losing streak. Only scored 13 points, 10 points, losing to Vegas and Cincinnati. Chargers on a 2-game losing streak, coming off that 41-29 loss against the Texans. That was an unfortunate game for the Chargers. This is a must-win game for both teams. Chargers really need this win here after that bad loss last week. Should be getting Joey Bosa and Eckler back, which will be huge additions. I like the Chargers -6.5 against the struggling Denver team without Teddy Bridgewater. Rolling with the Chargers here. All right, next matchup, we have the Houston Texans versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners opening up as 12-point favorites with the over-under at 43.5. The last 3 head-to-head, San Francisco 2-1, 2-0-1 covering the spread. The over has hit 1 out of the last 3 matchups. Houston on a 2-game winning streak, coming off a 41-29 win over the Chargers. The Niners coming off a 20-17 loss against Tennessee. Houston 0-5 against the NFC. The Niners 5-2 covering in their last 7. I like the Niners, at home. I know Houston got a nice win over the Chargers, but going to be tough on the road against this Niners team. That's really a must-win for San Francisco. Hard to trust Houston in this one. Rolling with the Niners -12. I'll add them to your moneyline parlays as well. Next matchup, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys opening up as 6-point favorites with the over-under at 52. The last 3 head-to-head, Arizona 2-1. 2-1 covering the spread. The over is just, 0-3 in the last 3 games. Arizona on a 3-game losing streak, coming off a 22-16 loss against Indianapolis. Cowboys on a 4-game winning streak, coming off a 56-14 win over Washington. Arizona just 3-14 on the road against Dallas. Dallas 12-3 covering in their last 15. 14-3 at home against Arizona. 10-0 covering against the NFC. I love the Cowboys, man. The Cowboys are just on another level right now. Offensively and defensively, man, they're creating a lot of pressure, a lot of turnovers. This Carolina team, or Cardinals team, has been struggling. I just don't know if I can trust them here with the way the Cowboys are playing. I'm taking Cowboys -6 at home. Next matchup, we have the Carolina Panthers versus the New Orleans Saints. Saints opening up as 6.5-point favorites with the over-under at 37.5. The last 3 head-to-head, the Saints 2-1, 1-2 covering the spread. The over has hit in 1 out of the last 3 matchups. Looking like Sam Darnold will be the starter for this game for Carolina. Carolina on a 5-game winning streak, coming off a 32-6 loss against Tampa Bay. Saints coming off a 20-3 loss against Miami. Carolina 0-5 covering in their last 5. On that 5-game losing streak here. I like the Saints at home. It'll do them well to be at home, getting Taysom Hill back, which will be nice. They'll be able to get the running game going more for the Saints. I just think the defense is going to put up a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold, create turnovers. I'm taking the Saints -6.5 at home. Next matchup, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle opening up as 7.5-point favorites with the over-under at 41.5. The last 3 head-to-head, Seattle 3-0, 2-1 covering the spread. The over is just 0-3 in the last 3 meetings. No Jared Goff for Detroit. Detroit coming off a 20-16 loss against Atlanta. Seattle coming off a 25-24 loss against Chicago. Detroit 6-1 covering in their last 7. Seattle 2-5 covering in their last 7. Just 2-6 at home. This is an ugly matchup here. 2 teams, their seasons are pretty much done. I mean, realistically, you would think Seattle should be able to get a nice win over Detroit at home. But to be honest, they haven't been much better than Detroit. Honestly, Detroit has more momentum, I think, than Seattle does. I like Detroit +7.5. Not in love with this game. I mean, I'm definitely not betting on this game whatsoever. But to give 7.5 points to the Seattle team they really do struggle to score. Even though Boyle's going to be the quarterback, I mean, he played last game. They had their chances to win, but they did cover last game. Give me Detroit +7.5 on the road. Next matchup, we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. Packers opening up as 13-point favorites with the over-under at 42.5. The last 3 head-to-head, Minnesota 2-1. 2-1 covering the spread. The over has hit in 3 of the last 3 matchups. No Thielen. Kirk Cousins is out. That's a big loss. So Sean Mannion is going to be the quarterback. Minnesota coming off a 30-23 loss against the Rams. Green Bay on a 4-game winning streak, coming off a 24-22 win over Cleveland. Going to be tough for Minnesota. No Kirk Cousins. Green Bay 7-0 at home. 11-3 covering in their last 14. Rolling with the Packers here. Packers are just playing, if not like the best team in football, they're playing unbelievable football right now. Minnesota, it'd be different with Kirk Cousins, but with no Kirk Cousins, Sean Mannion, really hard to trust him. I think he has the weapons, but going to be tough assignment against this Green Bay defense that's been looking solid. Taking the Packers -13. Throw them in your moneyline parlays. Then the last matchup, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cleveland opening up as 3.5-point favorites with the over-under at 41. The last 3 head-to-head, Cleveland 2-1. 1-2 covering the spread. The over is hitting 2 out of the last 3 matchups. Cleveland on a 2-game losing streak, coming off a 24-22 loss against Green Bay. Pitt coming off a 36-10 loss against Kansas City. From what I've seen, this is going to be Big Ben's last game at home for the Steelers. Those are the reports I've been seeing. I'm sure it's probably true. Pitt 5-0-1 at home right now, surprisingly, with how bad they've looked. Big Ben's last game at home. I'd like Pitt plus 3.5. Browns, they're just dealing with so many injuries, man. They are getting a bunch of guys back, but they haven't looked that good, coming off a couple bad losses. I like Pitt plus 3.5 at home. That's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Sunday, and I'll see you guys Monday. Have a good one.